Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how you can make goat milk soap. The best type of goat milk to get is from your local goat milk farmer. If you don't have a local goat milk farmer, go ahead and buy some at the store. You're going to freeze it in trays, and you're going to need for this recipe 15 ounces of those frozen goat milk cubes, 6 ounces of lye, 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. The sugar adds bubbles, the salt makes your soap hard. Then you're going to need 10 ounces of palm kernel oil flakes, 8 ounces of coconut oil, 20 ounces of olive oil, 2 ounces of castor oil, and 3 ounces of your fragrance. It's very important that you use a scale to measure your ice cube trays and to measure your lye so that you have the exact amounts. You can also see here that I'm using a big bowl and putting my small bowl in, and I have some ice cubes and some water to keep the temperature of this cool, because when lye is added to liquid, heat is created and you don't want to scorch your goat milk. It'll turn kind of orange looking. I stirred in the lye a third of it at a time. It took about 30 minutes for the cubes to completely melt, and you can see in the bowl it's nice and liquefied. Then I added the Himalayan salt and the sugar, and then I used my immersion blender to really help dissolve the salt and sugar into the lye goat milk mixture. And then once that's all mixed up, I just set it aside while I worked on the oils. Now I'm going to put a bowl on the scale and tare it. I'm going to add my hard oils, my coconut oil, my palm kernel flakes, melt them in the microwave just until they're liquid, and then I will add my liquid oils using the scale in the same way. Now that everything's been measured out, my oil should be at room temperature and it is ready for the goat milk lye mixture. And I'm using my immersion blender to blend it all together. And next I'm going to measure out my fragrance, and I'm going to add that to it as well. It's really important that you do the research on the fragrances you're putting in your soap, because it can cause ricing, it can cause your soap to get really thick really fast. So make sure that you put the time into learning how your fragrance is going to work in cold process soap. I'm going to use a pot pour method, and so I'm pouring off some of the soap into a different container. I'm going to use 2 different colors here. So these are mica powders from Brambleberry. Just put in probably half a teaspoon into the big pot. Into the little pot I added a little bit less, or just add as much until you get the color you want. Remember though, as your soap cures, the colors do change. So now I have a darker brown and a lighter brown, and I'm just going to pour it in, and then I'm just going to take my spatula and swirl it, and then I'm just going to pour it into my 2-pound mold. I always leave a little bit of soap in the bowl so that once it thickens, I can add it to the top of the soap bar. And you can see I just kind of used a scoop and scooped it across the top. And then I'm going to get a spoon, and I'm just going to kind of decorate the top of the bar. And actually this recipe is a 2.5-pound recipe because I like to add some height to my bars. I don't like them to just be flat across the top. Now I have some wood shavings, cedar wood shavings, I'm just going to decorate the top with. Here it is, 24 hours later, and it's ready to cut. Now to cut this soap, or any soap that you have like something on top of it, like my cedar shavings, you have to turn it on its side, because it will actually drag the cedar shavings down through the soap if you cut from top to bottom. After you get your soap cut, you need to find a place to put it where it can cure. I put mine on a cookie sheet, and I just kind of set it out of the way for 4 weeks, a minimum of 4 weeks, so that the pH can balance out and water will evaporate from your soap bars, and they'll be nice and hard, and they'll be ready to use. If you like this soap cutter, I'll put a link in the description below where you can go to see how I made it. I made it using a cheese cutter. It was very affordable, and it makes same size bars every time. This is my favorite soap cutter. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe and hit the like button. God bless you.